Drive down Sheikh Zayed Road on any weekday morning, and the monolith appears before you can even process its scale. 85 floors of reflective glass and structural steel piercing the desert sky, rising 868 feet above the Persian Gulf, higher than almost anything else in the marina, a structure that swallowed $800 million to build. It took more than a decade of aggressive financing and brutal construction to realize, marketed as the ultimate statement of what Dubai had become as a hyper-luxury global hub. Look at it from across the marina waterfront on a clear morning, and it dominates the skyline with the sheer force only a mega-tall structure can command. It is impossible to ignore. It is impossible to miss. It is also, by every measurable standard of the ultra-luxury residential market it was built to exploit, a ghost. A building that the elite expats and wealthy investors it was engineered for simply do not want to live in. Welcome to a different kind of architectural failure. There are no dramatic structural collapses here, no evacuation orders. What we have instead is a financial and structural paradox. A building that did everything right on paper, yet the market is quietly, aggressively rejecting it. A tower that is functionally complete, but conceptually dead. The story of the Marina Pinnacle Monolith doesn't start with the groundbreaking. But in 2006, the absolute peak of the UAE property frenzy. Developers were churning out luxury towers faster than concrete could cure, flipping units off-plan using heavily leveraged capital. The original blueprint promised a hyper-dense, mixed-use ecosystem, elite residential zones, premium offices, and a 5-star hotel stacked vertically in the heart of Dubai's financial playground. Then, 2008 struck. The global crash didn't just slow Dubai down, it froze the desert solid. Financing vanished overnight. The prestigious plot went dormant, leaving nothing but an empty excavation pit baking in the relentless UAE heat. By 2012, Dubai's real estate machine was aggressively firing back up. A veteran developer bought the stalled site at a steep discount, intending to rewrite the tower's destiny. The new blueprint was staggering, an 85-story megastructure containing 821 premium rental apartments, a 208-room luxury hotel, and parking for over 2,000 vehicles. To insulate the project from another market crash, the developer made a fateful decision. This wouldn't be a condominium sold to individual buyers. It would be a pure rental play. The math seemed foolproof. Lock in reliable corporate tenants and wealthy expats to service the massive $800 million construction debt. Groundbreaking began in January 2014, and immediately, the desert fought back. Building a massive tower on reclaimed coastal land in the marina requires wrestling with an unforgiving water table. Engineers had to pump out millions of gallons of corrosive salt water daily just to secure the foundation pile caps. But the real enemy wasn't the sea, it was the physics of extreme heat. In Dubai, summer temperatures routinely breach 115 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme thermal cycling causes dramatic expansion and contraction of structural steel and curtain wall glass. As the concrete pumped upward, logistical nightmares piled up. The main contractor, crippled by endless design revisions demanded by the developer without timeline extensions, walked off the site. A brutal, multi-million-dollar legal war erupted over unpaid work and construction delays, leaving the project half-finished for months. A second contractor was rushed in to salvage the build, but the rush introduced stealth flaws. The intense heat caused the window sealant compounds to degrade prematurely, leading to microscopic structural shifts in the glass frames. By the time the hotel component finally opened its doors in early 2018, the project was 4 years behind schedule and bleeding capital. Stand in the high-gloss lobby back then, and it looked like a triumph of engineering. The glass was polished, the infinity pools shimmered, and the views across the Palm Jumeirah were breathtaking. But behind the marble facade, the tower's financial clock was ticking dangerously fast, and the elite tenants required to pay off the $800 million debt were nowhere to be found. The financial model for a mega structure like the Marina Pinnacle Monolith is utterly merciless. To service an $800 million debt load while covering skyrocketing operational and climate control costs, the building needed to command astronomical rents right out of the gate. We are talking $2,500 a month for basic one-bedroom layouts, soaring past $6,000 for three-bedroom suites. To hit these numbers, the developer brought in Dubai's top-tier luxury agencies, launching aggressive campaigns packed with move-in incentives, slashed security deposits, months of free rent, and waived utility connections. But the Dubai Marina rental market of 2018 was not the wide-open frontier the developers had gambled on back in 2012. While this monolith was struggling through its chaotic construction delays, a massive wave of competing luxury inventory had already flooded downtown and the surrounding waterfront districts. High-earning expats and wealthy investors suddenly had a buffet of options, and they were looking for exclusivity. Instead, the monolith offered hyper-density. With 821 units, residents were forced to share lobbies, elevators, and gyms with a population the size of a small town. The upper corridors didn't feel like an elite sanctuary. They felt like a high-traffic airport hotel. Worse still was the financing structure beneath the concrete. A massive chunk of the funding had been pulled from international investment programs, matching wealthy foreign capital with local infrastructure. As global interest rates surged into 2022 and 2023, the carrying costs of this mountain of debt exploded. The building was caught in a lethal pincer movement, falling short on projected premium rents, while its debt became vastly more expensive to maintain. By late 2023, the developer was forced into a massive $419 million refinancing package backed by regional institutional lenders. A restructuring of that scale, 5 years after a building opens, is never a victory lap. It is an emergency lifeline designed to buy time. But in the ultra-competitive Dubai market, time is a luxury this tower simply does not have, as newer, sleeker developments continue to siphon away its target audience. But to truly understand why this tower is being rejected, you have to look past the financial ledger and step inside the actual living experience. The marketing materials promised an elite vertical paradise, but the reality for the tenants who actually moved in is a story of daily, grinding frustration. It starts with the geographic position of the tower itself. It sits on a highly congested peripheral artery of the marina, an area that has entirely failed to develop the walkable, high-end street-level fabric that wealthy residents demand. You can see the fine dining and luxury boutiques from your window, but reaching them requires navigating a logistical nightmare of traffic gridlock. The tower is an isolated island of glass. Step inside the apartments, and the physical reality of Dubai's extreme climate reveals the building's stealth engineering compromises. In a tower with 821 units, structural efficiency was prioritized over premium construction. During the peak summer months, when temperatures hit punishing levels, the building's heavy-duty central HVAC systems groan under the strain. Tenants complain of localized condensation failures, where the intense thermal differential between the freezing indoor air and the blistering exterior heat causes moisture to trap inside the double-glazed windows, permanently clouding the million-dollar views. Furthermore, the rushed sealants used during the chaotic contractor transition have begun to show their age. Minor structural shifts from heat expansion have created micro-gaps in the facade. When the seasonal Shamil dust storms roll across the Gulf, fine desert sand bypasses the filters, settling over pristine marble countertops. Residents paying over $5,000 a month are finding themselves fighting a losing battle against dust and phantom drafts. Then there is the sheer lack of exclusivity. Because the leasing office has been under immense pressure to hit occupancy targets for the lenders, they have been forced to lower their screening standards. The tower has become a high-turnover transit hub. Hallways are constantly filled with luggage, short-term holiday lets, and digital nomads. The ultra-wealthy expats who initially signed leases for a quiet, prestigious sanctuary find themselves sharing infinity pools with weekend tourists. The building is functioning, but it is hollowed out of the lifestyle it advertised. It has become a beautifully designed vertical warehouse. Competing on price concessions rather than the luxury prestige its debt structure drastically requires to survive. The original developer who fought through decades of market cycles to raise this monolith passed away in late 2023. He possessed the sheer stubbornness to survive the 2008 crash and get the tower built, but he could not force the market to want it. Today, the $419 million refinancing package is keeping the lights on, buying the management time. But time is running out. The ultimate threat to this tower isn't just internal decay or empty units. It's the relentless march of Dubai's skyline. The Monolith's entire identity, its core marketing hook, was built on a single superlative: the tallest, most dominant residential view on the waterfront. That advantage is about to evaporate. Just a few blocks away, a new hyper-luxury megatall tower is rapidly rising. Slated to top out well over 1,000 feet, it will officially strip the Monolith of its crown, claiming the title of the definitive vertical address. When that happens, the Monolith becomes just another aging glass tower in a city obsessed with the next big thing. It can no longer charge a premium for status. It will be forced to compete purely on price and features. The exact arenas where its massive scale and thermal engineering flaws cause it to struggle. Walk through the lobby today, and it looks like a triumph. The concierge is staffed, the elevators run, and the water in the infinity pools ripples under the desert sun. But look closer, and you see the mathematical trap, an $800 million monument built for an elite class that has already moved on. As the new megahouses climb higher into the sky, they cast a long shadow over this fading giant. The Monolith was built to dominate Dubai's future, but instead, it stands as a haunting reminder of what happens when a building loses its story before it even pays off its debt.